Hey, I'm George from MovieWeb. How are you, James?
Hi, very good. How are you?
Great. I want to start by asking you about the transition from being a second unit director on some very successful and effective movies like The Meg and Transformers come to mind, and how that informs this, the leap to the feature film in this way and action and all the things you've done before that people are familiar with, whether they know it or not, coming into
Yeah,
this
yeah.
one.
I mean, to be honest, I just found this a lot easier because it's just like marching in a straight line to exactly what the movie's going to be. For me, for my input in it, it's um, when I read a script or I'm prepping something, I see what it's going to be fairly clearly, and I have a pretty good idea of the pieces that go together and how we would go about it. And if you sort of got to do that by going through a whole bunch of people, it never quite comes out right, and it's a lot less efficient. Whereas this was just like, yes, go start. Da, da, da. It was a lot more fun, and it was a lot easier to do. And my real love is directing actors. I mean, that to me is it's the X factor that just makes something go somewhere unexpected, because I do plan it out and I do have a pretty definitive vision what happens, especially with someone like Josh and Charithra and a lot of them. They bring something to it that wasn't what you were thinking, that really pluses it, and being able to filter that out and to really pick the great bits of it just makes it so much better. So the technical aspects of it is what I get from my background, and that means that I wasn't distracted by those parts because that all comes to quite easy. But it just meant I could really just focus on performances and the story.
And in this case, there's a lot of fun. There's a lot of comedy to
Yeah.
these dynamics and these characters. What are some things that, Josh, for example, brings that surprised you that you didn't expect, and you're like, this is awesome, we're running with it. Like
Yeah,
any
yeah.
example?
Well, geez, I should have a cheat sheet of that, because it's when I go through the movie, I'm like, that was Josh. That was Josh. There is so much. There is so much. I mean, we were, yeah, I've said this a lot in interviews, but everyone is sort of like, oh, we're making John Wick on a plane because it's Basil who does John Wick and that, and me and Josh were like, this should be like the anti John Wick, because Chad and Keanu do John Wick and they do it amazingly, and people shouldn't copy that. And what we wanted to have was something that kind of harked back to, like, John McClane and Die Hard, and that the kind of more flawed, imperfect, a guy who maybe doesn't quite know what he's doing type of character. So that was something that was kind of important to us. So we, what, like, for example, there was a bit when he saw the shower. He didn't originally go in the shower, but the production designer had put a shower. It was not functioning into the thing, and he's like, well, what if I went in the shower and then that means I need to change my clothes because I'm wet, and then I do the rest of the movie in pajamas? And it's sort of like, that's amazing. And the production designer's like, the shower doesn't work. It's gonna have to now. And it's true. Like the whole bit with the gun, we're like, oh shit. In the script we hadn't thought about, like, he winds up with this gun. Where does that go? And so it's like, what if he did the whole, like, and
Yeah.
that was him. The pink T-shirt was him. So many things. I mean, there were just so many bits that just in the moment he'd be like, "What if I did this line or that line?" That we really owe to him for sure.
Well, thank you so much for your time. It's really fun, and I love those anecdotes. Thanks for sharing, man. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.